Alexander Usyk puts on a superb performance and cements his name in cruiserweight history. Jamie Munguia, the good, the bad, the ugly. Stay tuned. Please help us get to 1,000 subscribers. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment below. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome back to Sunday Morning Champion, a loaded week of boxing that started with an obscure card out in Connecticut where Joe Smith Jr. almost killed the dude with an uppercut, topped off with a new undisputed champion and a Mexican protege. Let's start with Alexander Usyk. What a performance he put on in defeating Gassiev. An amazing performance, display of speed, footwork, combination punching. He really is a gigantic Lomachenko, right? And now he's undisputed, the first undisputed cruiserweight champion since Evander Holyfield, and just the fourth guy to do it in the four-belt era, along with Bernard Hopkins, Jermaine Taylor, and then Terrence Crawford last year. Now, I know that some people are going to say O'Neal Bell was an undisputed champion. There's some debate on when the WBO belt was officially recognized, and O'Neal Bell had all the other belts except for the WBO, when it was kind of recognized and kind of not. But Usyk unifies all four belts in an absolutely dominating performance over Gassiev, a fight that we all thought was going to be 50-50. We did pick Gassiev by unanimous decision, so we hit that one on the head, but we did not expect this dominant of a performance. The combination punching, the relentlessness, the punch output, the footwork. You can't hit this guy, and he keeps firing so that he can hit you. We thought at some point that punch output would drop, and Gassiev would start to impose his will a little bit. Gassiev's the bigger puncher. We thought that he would land and start to wear him down in the mid-rounds. None of that happened. The footwork and the punch output is truly unique on a guy that size. We want to talk about where Usyk is on our pound for pound list because he's going to be in the top 5. His name should go along with anyone. He undisputed. And he ran through a division. He cleaned out a division. There's no one else who's cleaned out their current division. I know Crawford cleaned out 140, but he's at 147 now. There's no one that's cleaned out a division like he did. And he did it within a year. And before that, he had a couple quality wins. I mean, this is a guy who, when we put up their credentials, his current resume, his current list of credentials and scalps, as good as anyone in the sport. It really is. And that's the beauty of the World Boxing Super Series. So hopefully we get this at 140 and the bantamweights as well. But this is really, really good for the sport when you have the best fight and the best. And it's produced. Now, look, the Usyk Gassiev fight wasn't a great fight, but it was sure a great performance. I mean, this is a legacy cementing performance. When we go back and we look at, when we talk about Usyk's career, this is going to be the fight that stands out, right? What he did to Gassiev. And a fight that everyone thought was going to be warfare. Everyone thought it was going to be 50-50. Usyk dominated. It was one-sided. He lost one round on 2 of the scorecards, and on the third he won all 12 rounds. We had given 2 rounds to Gassiev, but it was that kind of performance. We want to bring up 2 things in regards to Usyk. How would he do against a prime Evander Holyfield? Now, prime Evander Holyfield in the cruiserweight division. I know there was a couple of different prime Holyfields. Right? There was a cruiserweight version, then there was the one that beat Buster Douglas, and then he kind of went into recess, and then burst onto the scene when he beat Mike Tyson. So let's look at the cruiserweight version of Evander Holyfield. How would this Usyk do against that Holyfield? And everyone's laughing, and everyone's saying, Holyfield will kill him because we love yesteryear. Look, Holyfield was a great champion, one of my favorite fighters of all time. I'm not saying Usyk would beat him. I would lean towards Holyfield, but this fight is really, really close. Holyfield was a great offensive fighter, right? Complete offensive fighter. Quick jab, quick combinations, throw every punch in the book with power, especially at the cruiserweight division. Good size, 6'2". That being, and of course the heart, right? The heart and the chin and the tenacity. Here's what we have though, right? That tenacity against Usyk's punch output. Holyfield, could he stop him? Could he break him down? Could he really test him? Now he's never, Usyk has never faced somebody as good as Holyfield, and Holyfield's never faced someone at cruiserweight as good as Usyk. Kawhi was 5'7". When he fought, Holyfield was 6'2", 6'2.5", so he'd be fighting someone the exact same size of him, who's physically. I don't know if he's physically strong. Holyfield was freakishly strong for a guy that thin. But Usyk would outweigh him. This is a really interesting fight. Now, Usyk's footwork and combination punching and punch output, he would win rounds on Holyfield's. Now, could Holyfield break him down like he does? Holyfield's got the advantage in power. Holyfield's the better, throws snappier punches. But Usyk is going to be able to punch that. But this could really be a fight where do you like the work rate of Usyk or the effective work of Holyfield, the cleaner shots landed by Holyfield? Because Usyk would land more punches. He would throw more punches. And Holyfield would have to try to break him down and hurt him and slow him down. This would be a great fight between Usyk's defense and footwork and Holyfield's offensive prowess, because Holyfield could get hit. Holyfield's best defense was a rock-hard head and a rock-hard chin, right? I mean, Holyfield would eat shots. He wasn't a perfect defensive fighter by any means, but he was a complete offensive fighter, and he was that little engine that could, and he would just keep going and keep going and keep going. So we would lean towards Holyfield to eke it out, beat him up, slow him down, and win the fight at the end. But we're not confident in saying that because Usyk's punch output didn't slow down in the middle rounds. It didn't slow down in the later rounds. He dominated that entire fight with high punch output and brilliant footwork. That was a remarkable performance. Now the other question, where does Usyk go next? There's only one logical step, right? Like, it's time to go to the heavyweight division. There's nothing. He's cleaned out the cruiserweight division. He's a big, strong cruiserweight. Where does he go now? The obvious question is the heavyweight division. There's two heavyweight champions. We want to match him up against each one of those. We'll start with Deontay Wilder because we think he matches up nicely with Wilder. Wilder, as far as skill set goes, can't hold a candle to this guy, right? Usyk's skill set is far superior to Wilder's. Can he avoid being hit? Now, we haven't really seen we've seen Usyk's chin tested to a degree, right? Gassiev's a big puncher. Gassiev caught him clean in the fall out and hurt him. Now, it was at the end of the round. Was it the fourth or the fifth? I think it was the fourth. And he hurt him, but that was the end of the round. If Wilder catches him, Wilder's got out of this world power for a heavyweight. So how would he respond to that? It would be one of those things where you would be on the edge of your seat watching Wilder getting outboxed round after round, badly outboxed. But is he ever really out of it? Because we know what Wilder possesses. That's the right hand. And how much would Usyk eat trying to work on the inside, right? Because Usyk couldn't knock Wilder out, we don't think, right? Ortiz couldn't knock him. I don't think he'd knock him out. I don't think most of you do either. If Usyk's going to win this fight, he's going to win it on points, like he wins most of his fights, which is fine. But then he's got to avoid Wilder's power for 12 rounds. Now he's faster and much more skilled than Deontay Wilder is. We think he could beat Wilder. Okay? And this is not an official prediction, and if that fight ever happens, we don't see it happening in the foreseeable future. We're just playing what if right here. Usyk has the speed and skill set to give Wilder fits. Just out by Gerald Washington was winning rounds. Luis Ortiz was winning rounds with Wilder until they ate a shot. Usyk is a night and day more skilled fighter than those guys. Usyk is a once in a generation skilled fighter for somebody who's 200 plus pounds. So, yeah, I think he's good enough where he would win round after round after round. And he could survive. Now, again, that could all change in 1 second. We could be dead wrong, right? That shot could come in the fourth round. Wilder knocks him out in the fourth round with one right hand, and Usyk's out unconscious. That could happen too. But if we had to bet on it, we bet Usyk stays. We use the word "stay away" in the wrong sense, right? Because Usyk would have to do his work on the inside because Wilder would have such a massive reach advantage. So that's dangerous. This is what we were talking about in the Gerald Washington fight with Deontay Wilder. Big Baby Mill would have to get inside on him. That wouldn't work too well. And eventually, well, it would work well when he's getting inside. Eventually, he'd need a big right hand. Could Usyk avoid that? Well, Usyk's a much more defensively responsible fighter than his big baby Miller. So, yeah, I think he can get on the inside, do his work, tie him up when he needs to, and win on punch output and just outworking him. All right? We just have to stay away and not have Wilder land those clean right hands. Because it only takes one with Wilder. We know that. But, I think his chin is good enough to stand up. And he's a far superior boxer. I think he takes a wide decision over Deontay Wilder. The other news on that is they're not going to be much different in size. His last two fights, Wilder's weighed 214 for the Luis Ortiz fight and 219 in the Gerald Washington fight before that. In the Bermain Stavern fight before that. So 214 and 219. That's not, that's a heavyweight from the 80s. Right? Like, that's the size that Holyfield was when he beat Tyson. That's the size that Tyson was when he won the heavyweight championship. Right around 215 to 220 was the wheelhouse for heavyweights back in the 80s. Then you had these big heavyweights, Lewis and Bo, and then you had the Klitschko's. And now you have 240, 250 pound heavyweights. Wilder doesn't represent that. He's a 220 pound, 215 pound heavyweight. He's 6'7", he's lean. Usyk weighed in just under the 200 pound limit, and he weighed 208 and change, 208 point something, 7 days before the fight, right? So the 7 day weigh-in, according to the WBC, he weighed 208 pounds and change, 208.8 or something like that. Which means he has to cut a lot of weight, which means he's probably coming down from about 215 or more. So he would potentially be the same size or close to it as Wilder. I mean, I think in reality, there'd only be a couple of pounds different. You could even make the fight at the catcher a 215 pound catch weight if you wanted to, right? And that wouldn't kill anyone. But I'm saying, if you just didn't, there's not going to be that much of a size disadvantage for him and Wilder. So it's not like Wilder's going to get in there and bully him around and push him around. They're going to weigh about the same. Usyk is massively big at his cruiserweight. You look at him, it's like, how does this guy shrink down to 200 pounds? Well, he doesn't. And he's really big for the weight. Normally, before we had the 240, 250 pound heavyweights, he would just be a 218 pound heavyweight. He'd be an average size heavyweight. Now that we live in a new era of heavyweights, so he's a cruiserweight. But he would match up with Wilder in terms of size. We think he beats Wilder. How about Anthony Joshua? Huh? That's different, because now we're looking at that 240 to 250 plus pound heavyweight, right? 6'6", 250 pounds. I know he weighed in a little less for his last fight with Joseph Parker. The haters are going to say that was because of he was tested by VADA. I'm not getting into that. I have no idea. He is a Greek god of a human being. I have no idea. That would be a much tougher fight, because AJ is a much more skilled fighter than Wilder. You can't just say, and he's much bigger, right? So he'd have the massive size advantage over Usyk, and he's a much more skilled fighter. Now, I don't think he's as skilled as Usyk. I don't think anyone at that weight class maybe ever was, right? I mean, 200, that's not true, but no one in the current sport at or around 200 pounds plus is as skilled as Usyk. So AJ would be competitive in the fight, right? From a skills standpoint. And he could push him around. This would be a real tough fight for Usyk. Probably lean towards AJ in this, but it wouldn't be surprised if Usyk was winning on points. If and when he got knocked out, right, like he's winning the fight, he's outboxing him, and then eventually Canelo Alvarez with Amir Khan, the size advantage is too much. But he'd be competitive in the fight as long as it lasted, and if it did go 12 rounds, he'd win. I'm confident in saying that. If Usyk can take any of these heavyweights 12 rounds, he wins. Right? Because he's not so little where he's going to get pushed around. It's not like Andre Ward going in there. He's a big dude, Usyk. The problem is he's 215. Let's say he's 215. Let's say he can get all the way up to 220. I don't know if he's that big. But let's say he comes in at 220. And AJ comes in at 250. That's still 30 pounds he's giving up, right? That's not a little bit of weight. So, again, it's not impossible that he loses to Wilder. And it's not impossible that Usyk beats Joshua. I think both of those things are reasonable. But if I had to make a guess, I would say at this point Usyk beats Wilder. via unanimous decision, and he gets knocked out by AJ late in the fight, maybe 9th, 10th round. But again, let us know what you think. How do you think he would match up with those two? Do you think he gets knocked out by both of them? Do you think he can outbox both Joshua and Wilder, one or the other? Leave your thoughts, comments below, and let us know what you think Usyk should do next. Should he stay at cruiserweight? Is there someone else you want to see him fight? Let us know what you think. Next, Jaime Munguia. Well, one thing is decided, he's entertaining, that's for sure. Now, how good is he? We asked the question, who do you think he should fight next? Hurd? That's who we wanted, right? Jermell Charlo, Kell Brook, Laura. Who do you want to see him fight next? We want to see the Hurd fight, so we're going to get into that. A lot of opinions have shifted on Munguia, right? We went from, this guy's a killer, this guy's the future, he'll knock out anyone. And then we saw how hittable he was. He was this hittable against Saddam Ali. And Saddam Ali hit him some clean shots. It was just that he was so overmatched and so overpowered that every time Munguia hit him, he was hitting somebody, drastically smaller, and you could see the effect of it. Every time he hit Ali, he did more than dent him. He literally hurt him every time he hit Saddam Ali. So there was no overcoming that. But Saddam Ali caught him with clean shots. Now, Munguia's got a great chin. Liam Smith, not a big puncher. He's a volume puncher. He's like Billy Joe, right? Like Liam Smith in the sense that he's strong looking, big, strong, massive legs, strong upper body, but he's not a big puncher, right? Like Billy Joe's like that. Like you look at Billy Joe and you're like, okay, this guy looks solid. Looks like he should be able to punch, and then he really doesn't. So if he ate those kind of shots from Jermell Charlo, good night, especially Jermell Charlo, but Jermell Charlo, that would not be a great look for him, right? That would be a really bad matchup for him. Would he be too big for Kell Brook? We think so. Hurd. I mean, this would be two massive junior middleweights, right? Both two defensively floored, come forward junior middleweights. This would be a fight of the year. You know that. It can't miss. The way these two guys are offensive and the way that they defensively floored, they would be eating big shots. Now, we can't possibly see this thing go in 12 rounds, right? Someone would get knocked out. Who that would be? At this point, we would lean towards Hurd, right? And look, Hurd's got the better resume. He's beaten the better fighters. He's beaten Trout. He's beaten Lara. Far better than anything that Munguia has done. But this would be a great fight. Let us know what you think. Would you want to see Munguia versus Hurd next? We know that they'd have some promotional issues there. But who else on the Golden Boy side would you want to see him fight? Because he's not ready to fight Canelo. Canelo would knock him out. He gets hit too much. Canelo's too good fundamentally. His hands are too quick. Canelo would knock Munguia out. I think we all agree on that. But how would he do with Hurd? Because they're similar fighters in size and come forwardness, right? It's going to be all offense. Someone could get knocked out. Hurd's got the experience. Hurd's been through it. Hurd's been through wars with Laura and Trout. So we would go with Hurd. But let us know what you think. Who do you want to see Munguia fight next? What do you think of Munguia? Is he, like Max Cummins, just another Toro Gatti? Or is there something to it? Is he better than... Is he a special fighter? Is he an elite great fighter? Where do you see him going? And how much longer can he stay at 154? Like a Toro Gatti back in the day at junior lightweight and lightweight, he was massively big. And he had a natural size advantage because he was cutting 20 pounds plus. We want to get into that too. He weighed 176. That's above the light heavyweight limit. Walking into the ring last night, Jaime Munguia weighed 176 pounds. That's a 22 plus pounds he put on overnight, right? He weighed in at 153.8. He walked in, stepped foot into the ring at 176. Does something need to be done about that? Because you could look at him, and Liam Smith was the same way. He's not a junior middleweight. Look at past junior middleweights. Look at Terry Norris. Look at Fernando Vargas, Shane Mosley, Felix Trinidad. Do those guys look like the same weight class as Munguia and Hurd? Of course not, right? So, I mean, can Keith Thurman or Errol Spence possibly go up to 154? That seems ridiculous because look at the size of him. Like Danny Garcia and his dad talking about going up to 154. That's ridiculous. Look at the size of Garcia. Look at the size of Munguia and Hurd. It's just, they don't even look close. So we used to have day in weigh-ins. Now we have day before weigh-ins. Should we cap the amount of weight that you can gain back? Would any of this make the sport any safer, or would it all make it riskier, right? Because would you have fighters just simply going in dehydrated? It's an interesting debate. I don't know what to do, and I don't know the right answer. But when you see a guy 176 pounds who looks like a super middleweight, right? He's 6 foot tall and big, right? And look, Hurd's probably almost as big. Charles really big. You look at Jamel Charlo and compare him to Shane Mosley, right? Shane Mosley was a great 154 pounder. They're not even close to the same size. You know, these guys are way bigger than Sergio Martinez, who was a middleweight. So, I don't know. I mean, they make the weight. If they make the weight, go ahead, I guess. But should we change the way that we weigh in? Should we add a rehydration clause that you can't gain more than 10 pounds? Because if Munguia had to come in at 164, there's no way he can make that fight. He'd be way too dehydrated, which means he'd have to move up to 160. Or 168, right? Which is where he belongs, honestly. But if he can make the weight, then he can make the weight. So do we need to change the rules? Let us know what you think about that below. Leave your comments. What should we do about, or is it fine? Is it fine that he comes in at 176? Or does something need to be done about it? Leave us your thoughts and comments below. Please remember to like and subscribe. Help us reach 1,000 subscribers. For Sunday Morning Champion, this is 3D Boxing signing off. Thank you, and God bless.
Enjoy 3D Boxing vlog videos? Show us some love by clicking the like button. Don't miss a tweet, post, story, or video. 3dboxingvlog.com is also on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hit the subscribe button now to stay inside the ring.